Hello, 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 and I want to welcome everyone to Content Palooza. Today we're going to be talking about the age-old battle to repurpose or not to repurpose. I'm going to share a perspective and a strategy around both of those lanes. I think you might be surprised at what I have to share with you as it relates to the repurpose battle. Second, though, I do want to let you know that I'm actually going to be gifting those that are live with us today a strategy that I had a client hire me and my team to create for them. It literally cost this client thousands of dollars for this consult and then the system development and all the things. And I'm just going to give it to you guys today. So hang in there with us. It's going to be slightly different. We don't have a guest today. We're going to be more presentation style today, but sharing a lot of my wisdom. And like I say, I'm going to give you a brand new strategy that has been developed for my client. And I'll tell you the story about what the results have been as well. So as you guys are coming in, just give me a shout out. Where in the world are you today? I'm in Virginia, living in Virginia these days, and it is a little nippy out. So how's the weather where you guys are? We've saved the best. If you've been with us, let me back up for a second. If you've been with us all week, you know we've been giving away some amazing prizes. Thanks to the generosity of Streamyard. Streamyard has been super generous, and they've given us a lot of things to give away to those of you who are with us. So today is no different. In fact, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what today's prizes are because you're going to want them. I mean, like I said, we've saved the best for last. And if you are with us today, you are going to have an opportunity to win what we are calling, one is a pro license. We've been giving one of those away every day. That's a value of about $500. We're also, though, giving away a mega swag pack. So all the swag that StreamYard has in their merch store, which is the amazing sweatshirts that you can see. I have one on myself, puddles, a mug that's incredible. I mean, just all the things. This is going to go to someone today, some lucky winner, and that is almost a $600 value. And one other prize, I'm going to be giving away my content strategy. This is a program, system, a course, however you want to word it. I think it's more than a course. It's actually a system. And that has a value of almost $2,500. So we have lots and lots of giveaways today, and they have high value. So how in the world do you win? Well, you have to use the hashtag comments down under. Okay. So make sure that as you pick up something today, like if you have an aha moment or you have a question, use the hashtag content when you drop in down under. And that'll make you eligible for the gifts that we're giving away or the prizes that we're giving away today. If you know somebody that would get some value out of today's content, if you know somebody has content, they just haven't been repurposing it very well, then this would be a great place to invite them. Or maybe I'm going to make a strong case for not repurposing, just being intentional with the content you create and the format that you create it in. I love questions. Please, please, please feel free to ask any and all questions as we go. I'm going to share my screen here in a minute. We're going to deep dive in, but don't hesitate to ask any questions that you have. And I just want to say, hey to Paul. Paul, it has been too long, my friend. I hope you're doing good. And then we have Louise from Charlotte. Charlotte, I'm so excited to see you today, Louise. I hope you're doing well. So day 5, we're at day 5 of the Content Palooza. And like I said, we have lots and lots of good giveaways today. So make sure you sprinkle this out into the world. Ask any questions you have. At a bare minimum, please, please, please use the hashtag content so that we can, that you'll be eligible to win the amazing prizes that we have today. So who is ready to get jumping? I have one question for you guys. One of the things I've been very focused on this week with all the guests is making making a little bit of a differentiator between the term content creator and contentpreneur. And I think the difference between the two at the root of it is really just intention. I mean, maybe let me ask this question. How many of you guys self-identify as a content creator? In other words, are you using content to attract your person to you? Or is that the end goal anyway? Sometimes we're creating content, but it's not really working for us so well. So if your intention is to use content to attract your person to you, raise your hand. I'd love to say hey and see how it's going, because I see so many people today in that lane of content creation, or in the struggle bus, if you will, of trying to create the right kinds of content that's going to attract their person to them. So the difference, I think, with the content creator and the contentpreneur, the content entrepreneur, is just being intentional and making sure that content is going to drive revenue for you. And what kind of content is that today? So Louise is saying she is a content. She's doing great content. Good. And right now, do you feel like your content is actually driving revenue for you, Louise? I'm just curious, because I think, like, when I started, like, years ago, it was easier than it is today. And I don't think I could recreate what I've done today. So, okay, so Louise would definitely call herself a content creator. Most of us are, whether we call ourselves that or not. The reality is we're hustling, we're putting stuff out on social media. Most of us are absolutely content creators. Hey, Jenny, hope you're doing good, girl. All right, so let me pull up my screen. So like I said, we're going to be talking about to repurpose or not to repurpose, and really what does make our content drive sales today. So that is really going to be the focus of today's training. I'm going to tell you a few stats, like a little background on me. Most of you probably have been in my community for a while. You may know some of these things. But for those of you who may not know, and I'm not sharing these things with you to thump my chest or toot my horn, it's really just to showcase that I've been around a long time. I've been in the online space for 32 years, almost 33. And I've seen a lot of things come and go. And more importantly, I seem to have a knack for seeing what's next, or what the next trend is, or in some cases, the next evolution of where marketing is going. I think it's just really, it's not necessarily just a knack. I just think I've been around for so stinking long that I can kind of see it a little bit better. But I built seven-figure online businesses over the last 32 years. I've helped over 1 million online business owners. Now, this isn't just like my community numbers. This is sales. I've actually sold over 1 million products and services over the time that I've been in the online space. So I feel like, selling knowledge and value and helping people, that's a real number. It's not, some made up number. Being able to help people is why I do what I do. I wrote the book. A lot of people are like, oh, you have to have a book, right? I've done the book. I've spoke on some of the biggest stages literally in the world. Been very blessed to have made some amazing connections over the years. One of my most successful things, and I did this purely by accident. I didn't know what I was doing when I started blogging, just started blogging, and, it's a top resource for online business owners. But best of all, it's one thing to say, hey, I've got, a blog. It's another to say your blog makes money. Mine generates about 6 figures in revenue each and every year on autopilot, passively, because I was intentional. Not initially, but after I realized what I needed to do, I went back and I created a lot of affiliate links in my blog content. I could probably monetize at a higher level if I put ads on my page, but I haven't done that. Point is, though, there is ways to monetize content, and I've figured out some of those ways over the years. And if I had to say across the board that there's anything when it comes to making money online, the root of it all, or the foundation of it all, is content. If you're just going to hang a shingle and put up a website, well, how's people going to find that? You know, you have to generate content in order to showcase value. And I think content today is such a loose term, and it's something we have to understand with intention. What kind of content are we going to create? So, like I say, feel free to ask any and all questions as we progress through this. Like, if you're like, okay, I hear you, don't hesitate to please ask any questions you have. But here's the problem, and there's many of them. We get into the comparison trap. Perfectionism is a huge problem for many of us. It's a problem for me almost on the daily. So and feel free to like tell me, I would love to know in the community, everybody, there's no judgment here. So if any of these are a problem for you, speak up, like, right? Shiny object syndrome. I mean, I think we all at some level focus in or sidelined by shiny object stuff. Endless scrolling. I sometimes get on Facebook and I get caught up in the crack book there, not asking for the sale. A lot of times, we don't want to be salesy, so we just don't ask for it. Or selling overload, the exact opposite of it. FOMO, thinking you've got to be in all the places. Distracted again by shiny objects again. And then content, honestly, is the long play. When you're thinking content, like my blog, for example, is something that generates revenue for me. But it took a while. It wasn't like one of those things where I just put it up and immediately it started generating 6 figures in revenue. No, it doesn't normally happen that way. So you have to understand that it's an investment in your time and resources, right? So time is really our biggest construct and probably the biggest obstacle. Anybody agree with that? Like time, it's like everybody has the same amount of time, but I can't tell you how many times I felt like, well, if I just had 1 more hour in the day, and I've heard other people say this, like, if I just had more time. Time is always a barrier to entry. So if you feel it, I bet you do. How do we overcome that? And I think it's really, again, being intentional. And I really think content can and should be a gift that keeps on giving. So I'm going to give you some examples of what this looks like, because I think sometimes when we look at our content, it's a one and done kind of thing. And you're like, oh, well, I did it. So therefore, you pat yourself on the back, but you sometimes don't intentionally create it. So there's no necessarily, there's not a plan to make sure it lives on, right? That's one of the reasons there's maybe you could argue in the case of repurposing, how do you take existing content? But like, here's an example. This is a social media post, and I have a whole series of viral posts that I have posted over the years. This was originally posted, as you can see, like June 23rd, 2014. 2014, guys, this is 10 years ago. Well, almost 10 years ago. This was posted. It's had over 2 million shares. It was still circulates almost on the daily. I mean, I still get notifications almost every day where somebody has shared this post. And the thing about these types of pieces of content is it builds your reach, especially on Facebook. Well, any of our social platforms, there's an algorithm, and the more content is shared and put out into the world, it gives us the ability for more of our content to be seen, right? So there's value in this type of content, and it is literally a gift that keeps on giving. And I have hundreds of these. Like, if you want to see and maybe even purchase and not even worry about necessarily trying to come up with these ideas yourself, you can go to kimgarst.com/top viral. You'll see that I have a ton of these proven pieces of content, mostly just, I would call it relatable content. I started a Giphy account about, one of my pictures isn't showing up here, which is really sad because it's the most important photo, which basically just showcasing that I've got well over almost 2 million in reach on my Giphy account. This is where people are sharing my GIFs on, using the GIF feature, which is almost on all the social platforms, right? This is content that keeps on giving. So let's talk though real quick. I'm not sure why my images are not showing up here. We'll have to figure that out, but I can talk us through it hopefully. Let's talk about why most people share the strategy of repurposing. In most cases, it's to reach more people, right? So like if you create a long form piece of content, you could take the long form piece of content and slice and dice it and put it on all the social platforms, right? The intention too is to potentially save time from taking one piece of content and again, slicing and dicing it. And the other goal really is to reinforce the message, right? So like if, seeing it one place or seeing it multiple places, it's touch points. And, in the olden days, like just before the internet, the touch points in order to get a sale was, 5 to 7. Well, we're now 30 to 40. It's just crazy how many touch points you need before a person makes a buying decision. The best part is there's so many great tools out there like Streamyard. There's other tools as well. When you've created content inside of Streamyard, though, it's literally a click of a button, one click, and there's a generate button that ties that will create opportunities for your content to be sliced up into smaller increments, reels, stories, the most popular type of content today. One click of a button and it'll generate content for you. And one of the things that I love about StreamYard versus some of the other repurposing tools is that the feature is optimized for interview style recordings. Why is this important? This is so important because if there's no frame of context for the content, it's usually not paid much attention to. It's like if you have this massive interview that's like 30 minutes to an hour, and you're just pulling a small snippet out of that and then sharing it on social media, there's no frame of reference for that conversation, right? So this is one of the great things about StreamYard is you can literally take an interview that you conducted inside of StreamYard. You can technically even upload content if you need to, and it will generate shorts and reels for you. Boom, very quick. So I love that. There's other tools like Opus Clip. There's Submagic. I mean, there's all kinds of repurposing tools out there. But one of the reasons that I've been really focusing in on StreamYard this week is because it's such a great one-stop shop tool. And like I say, this is no different. You can take existing content and turn it into short snippets of content. But let's talk about, again, real quick, let me just share real quick what you would do. You just go to the recording and, turn it into, oh, I'm sorry. I think I've got this out of order. Never mind.
How do you get so many views on live streams? Live streams never do as well as regular content. And it's exactly what Desiree's saying, what Kelsey's saying. Like, you really have to plan it. Like, one of my biggest tips, if you're new to live streaming, you're interested in doing it,
you'll notice that in that clip, not only did it cut out a snippet from one of our previous days here together, but it also put the overlays, right? The text overlays on it, so that if somebody's watching it silently on silent, they can read it and consume the content. So it literally is a one-stop shop or one click option for you. So let's talk about why would we not want to repurpose. So how many of you guys have content and you're like, I want to repurpose. I need to be more efficient with my time. I think the repurposing lane is all for me. Just let me know. Don't forget to use the hashtag content so that you guys can be entered into the drawing. We only have 6 entries so far. So you're just making it easy for those 6 people to win. I'm just saying, you guys, please use the hashtag content so that you can be entered into the giveaways. I mean, we've got giveaways today that start at a $500 value and up. So you definitely want to be in the winner or the being eligible to win. So let's talk about why you would not necessarily want to repurpose. I I think we get audience fatigue a little bit. If they see the same type of content every time, it's not always necessarily customized to what they care about. It ultimately can turn them off, right? I think time and resources. The end goal or a lot of times, and I've done it, I've taught repurposing for years, but I've kind of shifted my approach to it. And I'll tell you why when I tell you the client story in a minute. But I think sometimes to get real quality repurposing, you have to manually do it, which does absolutely take a little bit more time and effort. And then sometimes, and this is the biggest reason that I think repurposing doesn't always win for us, is because there is lack of context. If you're pulling a snippet out of a long piece of content, without the framework of what went with it, it can be very misconstrued. And again, why does it matter if they don't understand it? So I think if I had to rank these things, I would absolutely start with lack of context as being a reason to maybe not repurpose. All right. So just making the case, I want you to think about this, because I think there's a place for repurposing, but I'm going to share with you why we're not really repurposing so much anymore. And let me kind of get a feel for where you are today. I feel like if I shared a little bit about this earlier, but let me speak to it just again real quick. I think if I had to start from scratch today and try to recreate what I've built over there, especially in the social and the online space, social and content space. Let me rephrase that, because I've owned various online businesses before content was a thing and before social media was a thing. So it used to be a lot easier. Today it is more difficult. So trying to rebuild or do all the things that I did in the early days, some of which I had no clue what I was doing. I'll just be totally honest. When I was starting, very similar to a lot of you guys, maybe you just were throwing stuff at the wall. You don't know what you're doing. That was me. So trying to start from scratch today, I think I would struggle. So I'm just trying to get a feel for, do you feel like you're at that place? Even if you've been doing it for a while, but your content's not turning into real dollars for you. Kind of give me a feel for if that's where you are. And there's no judgment here. I think there's things that used to work for us that no longer work. And that's why we have to evolve, right? It's evolution is always a part of the game when it comes to marketing. But one of the good things, I don't want to be the negative Nelly here, but because I think one of the good things is there's been so much trial and error by people like myself. And even you, you've done things that some of it worked, some of it didn't, that we don't have to focus so much on all the things anymore. Let's just find somebody that has done it and can tell you what you should be doing. Hopefully that's me today. And do that thing instead of trying to do all the things. There is really two things that we can always count on in the online space. And having been here and in this space for 32 years, I can tell you that this is absolutely the truth. Change. We cannot roll it back. We cannot prevent it. We can get frustrated by it all we want. But the reality is there is a constant change in the social and online space. It is going to happen. And then there is always the evolution that comes with that change. And if we don't change and evolve, we're going to die on the vine. And I think we are very much in that space right now where we've done the same things for so long. And, we've kind of all gotten stale and stagnant on social media. Why? It's because we haven't evolved. We haven't moved up with the things that are current, that are working now. So I really want you to understand that sometimes we have to slow down to speed up, right? And knowing what to do again is half the battle. So fascinating. And this makes my point. It makes my point in both directions. There's been so many things happening in the social media space that have been so fast and furious. but there's really not been a lot of new, revolutionary new since, about 2002. And that said, the biggest new thing that is happening for most is the evolution of AI. And I think that's something that's most of us that are in the space, most of us have heard of ChatGPT. It is absolutely turning content on its ear. And I would say in some good and bad ways. A couple of quick user stats here. ChatGPT currently has over 180 million users. It surpassed 1 million users in just 5 days. So it's one of the fastest growing tech evolutions ever. It gets approximately 1.6 billion visits per month, the platform itself. And this is where I think this is a fascinating thing. Those of us who are in the US, now I get that there could be international listeners right now, viewers, but about 12% of ChatGPT's users are US. Okay, so how many of those 12% are online business owners? I don't know that. But the point is that there is a whole lot of folks that are still not embracing AI, and that could be for a variety of reasons. I truly believe that if you embrace it, I don't believe we're going to be replaced by AI. Even if you're a service provider, I think that AI makes our lives easier in so many ways. I think that the key really is if you're not using it, you're going to be replaced by somebody who is, because it makes the content creation phase flow so much easier today, and it at a really deeper level than we've ever been able to do before, which has been one of the barriers to entry for so many of us. Is it's been hard to create all this content. So I'm going to pause for just a second before we move on, and I'm going to do one of our giveaways, guys. Now, we only have 9 entries in the giveaway. So I'm going to give you just a hot second while I'm going to pull up the image of what we're giving away first. We're going to be giving away a pro license. So this is a year of Streamyard Pro. That'll be our first giveaway. Our next giveaway, guys, is this mega swag pack. Y'all, you definitely want that. And of course, the third giveaway is going to be content to profit. So as we go up the value stack here, we're just going to keep increasing the value of the giveaway. But in order to win, you have to use that hashtag content. So if you're not using it, you definitely want to make sure you use hashtag content down under so that you are eligible for the giveaway. So I'm going to pull up the screen. Actually, I'm going to, let's see here, share my screen, giveaway tool. Here we go. All right. All right, here we go. Now, hopefully I won't win. I would love to win this. This is such a great, as much as I love StreamYard, I pay for it every month. So Mary Catherine, you are today's winner. So now you're the winner for, let me just bring it back up. You've got a year membership to StreamYard. That's a pro license. That's one of their top tier licenses. And you will be, if you'll go over to, go over to kimgarst.com/winner and give us your details. We'll make sure that you are entered, that they get you set up, and you'll have your I can't talk. They'll get you set up, and you'll have access to your brand new free StreamYard account. Now, if you obviously, if you don't win today, you don't get the pro account, you can still get a free 30-day trial by simply going to kimgarst.com/StreamYard. So just giving them a quick plug, and I want to give you guys the opportunity to try this amazing tool if it makes sense for you. Okay. Now let me pull up my screen again. Don't forget though, in order for you guys to win, you have to use the hashtag content, okay? I definitely want you guys to be able to be, well, you're all winners. Don't get me wrong. You're all winners. Oops, that's the wrong screen. Let me try that one more time. Share screen. Here we go. All right. So I am so excited. I saw some comments coming in. Let's see, hang on. I saw a couple of comments. So Mary Catherine saying, I need to get better at using AI to help with my content. Yes, girl, seriously. And I saw another comment. Let me make sure. Jackie says, loving the info. Thank you. Thank you. So it gets better. Hang in there. We're really going to get to the meat of what I want to share with you today, but I always feel like I have to set the stage a little bit. Okay. So understanding that you're not going to be replaced by AI, but you're probably going to be replaced by somebody who is using it, because it just makes the way we create content easier. If there is an if, there's always an it depends, isn't there? So here's the problem when it comes to AI. One, you've got to embrace it, right? You got to at least get started with it. But the biggest problem that I've seen after I go back with AI all the way to Watson days. I used to do some influencer work with IBM in the early days. And, Watson then was not a competitor. I was like, is this ever going to do anything? And then, of course, ChatGPT came about. Even Jasper before that. So having been exposed to this for a period of time, and then really being what I would call a pioneer for sure in the space, and then understanding what was working and what wasn't working. Here's the problem. I went the wrong way. Hang on, guys. Let me move that. It's creating a sea of mediocre content, y'all. So what people are doing is they're getting these prompt lists that are like, oh, create a blog post, 3 ways to do whatever. Well, let me tell you the difference between using AI to create content that matters to your business, and most importantly, to the person that you're serving, is not in a singular prompt. Okay. So please hear me when I say that. If you want success with creating content with AI, it's about frameworks. It's about teaching AI about your business, your products, your services, your voice, so that when you give it the process or the system or the framework, the content that's created is specific to you. It sounds like you. It is created for your business. It is no longer mediocre. It is no longer same as like everyone else's. So that is something that has to happen in order for the content output to be great. And like I say, I think that is one of the core reasons that so many people are not seeing success, if they're using it at all, is because they're just creating a sea of sameness. And that is a problem. So let me explain real quick. So real quick, I really want you guys to remember to use the hashtag content. Let me get that pulled back up here, because I want to make sure that I have the giveaway tool set up so that I'm on my own today. So I'm managing all the pieces and parts. Actually, maybe Sandra is here in the background, but I'm managing the giveaways and whatnot today. So usually I have somebody else taking care of that. Okay. So real quick, I had a client that we did some authority marketing for her. We created an authority website. We did her customer journey for her. And she's like, okay, I need somebody to do my social media, and I have all this content. Why don't we just repurpose it or just do some static content? I'm like, I don't think it's going to work, but she's like, no, let's just try it. And so we tried it for about about 90 days. And her results were so insignificant that I didn't want to say I told you so, but I wanted to. I was like, I told you this wasn't going to work. And she's like, okay, Kim, listen, that didn't work. I'm like, I didn't want to say I told you so. And she's like, let's do this. I want to hire you to create a custom strategy for me. And I want you to tell me what I need to do that you believe, based on what your experience, what you're seeing in the marketplace. Not only do I want to know what I need to do, but I want you to create it for me. I don't have the time to figure all this stuff out. So this is what I'm getting ready to share with you. She paid me thousands of dollars to come up with this strategy that I'm getting ready to share with you. Not only the strategy, but the system to support the strategy. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the system, the back end processes for a strategy for conversion, you're not going to convert. It doesn't really matter what the strategy is. So it all has to play together. So that'll make more sense in just a second. Trust me. Okay. So let me kind of float the rest of the strategy out for you. And I think it'll make, like I say, I think it'll make a lot more sense. So traditionally, I and many others teach a repurposing strategy. Okay, if you got a long form video, let's turn that into a blog post. Let's maybe repurpose it for a podcast, or turn it into some snippets, like some short videos, and then maybe we can just turn it into some text-based social posts. So it's been kind of like start big and go small. Okay, that model sounded smart. Like I've taught it for years. I'm like, use one block at a time, guys. And then you get all this content that you can use. But the problem traditionally, and it was certainly true for her, is she had all this long form content, but it was so out of context. There was no framework for that content when we started slicing and dicing it. It didn't make sense to her audience. And it certainly wasn't going to create new audience, grow her social media audience. It didn't work. So I'm like, well, it makes sense because, I've been saying this for a while because we've seen it with clients. We've seen it with my own content. I was like, this repurposing strategy just doesn't work as well as it used to. If I could even argue if it ever did. So I was like, okay, so what is working today? And we flipped the whole dynamic. So keep in mind, we went from old model. We needed a new strategy. We needed a new way to approach this problem, right? So basically the concept of what we were doing, again, not working, we needed something that worked. Today, and you've heard it over and over this week, our guests have said this many times, our buyers want snackable content, and they want it in a way that matters to them. So what kind of content matters to them? Thinking about it, right? Like, so we just flip the dynamic. We're like, and I think this is going to make sense to you as we're going through this. So we start with short form content now. Short form content is the most consumed type of content today on the socials. So that's YouTube Shorts. That is, and you've heard this from the guests all week. YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Stories, technically Reels are on Facebook and Instagram. And by the way, there's like 19 ways you can share short form content. Most people just talk about Shorts and YouTube, but we actually have 19 different strategies for short form content. So then you take that, like say a week of time, 5 short form videos, 1 a day. There's a strategy behind the short form content too. We'll talk about that in just a second. And then you say, okay, what was the winner chicken dinner this week? Okay, this was my winner. Then you turn that into a larger form piece of content, maybe a carousel of some type. Then you maybe take that and turn it into a longer form video for YouTube where there's more meat to the content. So it's a way to validate the concepts, the things that matter to your person before you get to the blog or the podcast, those longer form pieces of content. This has been working beautifully for my clients. Now we started with the one client. Now I think we're up to 4 clients that we're using this strategy for, and I'm giving away the strategy, and I'm also teaching it in my Content to Profit course. So we really focus on the front side of this, on that short form video, as well as the carousel post, because both of those formats on social today are very popular. Okay. So let me tell you about my original client. In about 5.5 months, her audience has grown 40%, a little over 40%. We're pushing almost 42%. Her opt-ins are up 100% because guess what? She wasn't building her email list before this. So now she has a strategy to move people from social media to a place that she owns. Hello, like, right? Traditionally, we've all been taught this, like the money's in the list, but yet it's one of the least amounts of attention that we give to our business is growing our list. So now she has a very core strategy that she can use to grow her list. Her list is up over 100%. She's actually building a list now, but her sales are up 32.7% in 5.5 months. Our other clients that were behind her using the same strategy are seeing similar results. So the point is that this strategy works. The difference, though, I think is, and my intention to share with you today is that using short form content is specifically with the help of AI to create intentional content is going to drive more sales in your business. And I think it's a little bit bigger than that. So our strategy, our system really is identifying your customers' problems and beliefs. And it's not just so much your problems that your person has. You have to understand what drives them from a belief perspective. Most of the time, so many of us don't even take the time to understand our person to this depth. Through AI, you can get a real clear picture of your person, probably for the first time, because you can do market research. Traditionally, as small entrepreneurs or solopreneurs, we haven't had access to data like this. But we batch short form scripts, we write one-liners, we write SEO descriptions, we record, we post, we nurture to a sale. Now, the nice thing about this is you can use ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT, but you can also use Streamyard to create vertical portrait content. So, that's really where the secret sauce is when it comes to short form content. It has to be in the right sizing, right? So again, this is a one-stop shop kind of tool. You can just go in. You don't even have to go live. You can use it to record the content. And voila, now you have a great piece of content that you can share on your socials. But guess what? I hate to be the negative Nelly. I always feel like I'm giving you guys with one hand, I'm giving you something, and then with the other hand, I'm taking it away. Not my intention. My intention really is just to clarify, it's not great content does not create sales. So I've seen so many people. In fact, I would bet you every one of you have great content. Every one of you have great content in some form or the other. But it's potentially not working for you to the degree that you would like it to. So why is that? The best and most profitable content that you can create today, and the strategy that we focused on with the client and what we're teaching now, is use problem-centric content. People don't care so much anymore about all the things. There's so much content out there today that if they're going to hyper focus on something, if you're going to get their attention, it has to be something that is going to solve a problem for them, and I think that is a differentiator. That's an intentional piece of content, identifying what that problem is that your person has, and then breaking it down. Most of the time, a singular problem has many, many lanes of solving that problem. So that one problem could generate many ideas, right? Many, many different pieces of content, many short form pieces of content. This is where you start to get the Netflix effect, is you start to really address the problems that your person has. And when they see that one piece of content, they go to all your Instagram reels, or all of your YouTube shorts, or all of your Facebook reels, and they start to binge watch because they think you have a solution to the things that they have problems with. This is a huge differentiator, and I hope you take this to heart, because, like I said, this is a secret sauce that we've created for our clients, and it is working today, guys. It is working. So let me give you the truth about making money, though, with content. Tools are awesome, and they certainly make our work easier. And like we've been talking about Streamyard all week, Streamyard is a great all-purpose tool, but you are wasting your time, again, if you don't have a client or a customer acquisition system in place. How many of you guys feel like you have a customer acquisition system? And you may be saying to yourself, what's a customer acquisition system? I don't know what that is. And don't be embarrassed, because I didn't either. I didn't know when I first started. I already had 500,000 or 750,000 followers on social media before I realized I needed this. So if you are in that boat, like I said, don't feel bad, because it's one of the most centralistic things, yet it's one of the most overlooked, simply because it sounds overwhelming or techie, or enter any reason that we don't end up doing it. Sometimes it's just lack of knowledge. So one, you have to move people to a place that you own. When you have people on social media and you have their attention, they're watching a video or you've got a post up there, the chances of that person seeing your content consistently over and over again is almost zero. And that's because unless they are intentionally following you for some reason. Most of the time, if it's a new person, they may see your content once, but consistency of seeing that content over and over is hard. They just don't see it. So when you have their attention in the moment, you have to have a call to action to move them to somewhere you own. Okay, that could be an email list. That could be it could be of a free community that you have. We're currently using School. So everything that we're doing is moving people to a community where we can serve and love them up. You can do the same with your email list. You serve and love them up, right? But you have to move them to a place that you own. All right. So let me give you an example of this. Now, this is one of my oldest opt-ins. This started out as a blog post years ago, guys. Years ago. But if you go to my website today, to my blog, you'll see that I'm still offering this as a freebie. Why? Because it still drives opt-ins. So 31 creative and engaging social media posts. We've rebranded it. We've updated it. I don't know, probably 7 to 10 times. But the point is that this one singular piece of content that is free has led to over 100,000 people have downloaded it. So that means, 100,000 people raised their hand and said, that's great. That's valuable to me. I want it, and gave me their email address in exchange for it. But this is where the rubber meets the road, because I had a customer acquisition or a funnel set up, meaning I acquired them on the front side and then I nurtured them to a sale. It generated 1.7 million in sales from this one piece of free content. So it's really an infrastructure that is automated. It's automated. So don't stress over, oh my gosh, I got somebody to say yes to my freebie today, so I'm going to have to send them an email manually. No, this is an automated process. Okay. Content today is not enough. Moving people to a place you own isn't enough. So even if you put them in a group or a community or get them on your email list, if you don't have a process to get them to a sale, then you're going to fall down more than likely. So you have to turn people, viewers, into sales. And it feels hard, right? It's like, oh my gosh, what's that process look like? Well, this is what an automated marketing funnel looks like. So don't let your eyes cross and you just turn away from this. This can be set up. This can be done. If you know what to do and somebody helps you put the pieces together or just gives you the pieces, like we give our students the pieces. This is like a series of 11 to 12 emails that is designed not only to nurture, but to lead to a sale. And this is really where the sales piece comes into play. If you don't have a client acquisition system or an automated marketing funnel, it's hard to really capitalize on your social platforms. So I've talked about a couple of things, but I just wanted to roll. There are so many tools, but I guess on the daily, we are using these tools consistently. So ChatGPT and Claude, both for different purposes, different reasons. Canva, absolutely. Streamyard. There's a few more too, but I really wanted to keep the list short. And then you have to be able to schedule the content, right? So I'm currently using Repurpose, but you can use any scheduling tool, whatever it is that you're using now. But the key is to use AI to really determine all the pieces and help you build out your infrastructure for your content. And then take that and put it into a framework or a system that is going to get that content out into the world based on where you're building community or want to build community, and then use that content to drive them back into your client acquisition. So it's really a three-step process. It's building out the framework for your content, problem-centered content, using AI to make it easy. And then creating that content, scheduling it, putting it out into the world, and then everybody that's watching that content comes back through one of two lanes. The way we're currently doing it is free community or a freebie. Both build your email list. And then from there, you're nurturing those people to a sale. It's not so difficult. It sounds like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could ever do that. But this is the missing piece, guys. If you don't do this piece, then you're going to continue to struggle to turn content into money. So if you want fast results, find somebody who has a system already and buy it. Don't try to build this stuff for yourself, because trust me, it takes time, energy, and know-how. So if you want fast results, our plan is all about focusing on short form content, using AI, of course, to identify all of our problems that our person has, getting super clear on their belief system, using that information to come up with scripts, batching content, all the things. And then, like I say, our system is called Content to Profit Launch. We're getting ready to open the doors to it again. And you can get the focus really is about finally making money with your content, and having a system already pre-built for our students so that they don't struggle with all the pieces and parts. So streamlining it, making it super simple. If that's appealing to you and you want it, then we do have, like I said, we're getting ready to open the doors to this again. We're going to give away a $500 off coupon for everybody. You can check it out at Content to Profit Launch /register. If you don't know if this is for you, if you're like, oh my gosh, this sounds good, but I don't know for sure, book a call. We'll have a quick conversation to see if it matters and is a perfect fit for you. And then I'm going to do the last two giveaways. If anybody has questions, don't hesitate. I'm going to circle back. I see some of the questions, but let me do one more giveaway. Then what we'll do is I'll answer questions, and then we'll do the last giveaway. Okay. All right. We have 11 entries. So you're going to have just a few more minutes before before I do the next drawing. The next drawing is going to be for the Mega Swag Pack, y'all. So this is all the things here. It's a pro license, and it's all of the merch that Streamyard has in their store. It's got almost a $600 value. It's going to be a big old box when it comes to your mailbox. So let me pull up my screen and we'll do the drawing. So a few more minutes to get in your hashtags there. Let me pull up my screen. All right, here we go. Okay, so hashtag content. I see a few more people put their hashtag content in. Let's see who the winner chicken dinner is. Louise. All right, Louise, you are the winner of the Mega Swag Pack. Oh, I'm so excited for you. I'm constantly wearing my swag that I've got, using my mug, all the things. So you're going to love it. I definitely think this is going to be a super, you're going to get it and you're going to be like excited to pull all the stuff out of the box. By the way, when you do get it, you should do an unboxing. Okay. And thanks StreamYard for all the goodies, because this is a huge win and or huge gift for them to donate for us to be able to pull in or gift to those who show up today. So definitely make sure you give them a shout out. This is a big win, right? Okay. So let me see. Let me go back. I know we had a couple of questions here. So Mary is asking, Mary Catherine, let me take a quick sip. My throat's getting dry. I've been using ChatGPT, but just stumbled upon Claude. What is the difference between the two? Great question. So I do have a blog, and I noticed that Sandra dropped it in, but I think the primary reason that I like Claude, especially since they've just released a new update, and I haven't updated the blog based on that update yet. So don't know. It's something I just thought of, and I'm like, I guess I should go do that. But I think Claude is a little better with conversational content. So when I want to, for emails and even for scripts and things like that, anything where I'm talking directly to someone, I feel like that I get a better output from Claude versus ChatGPT. But I've also done, I use both of them daily. It just depends on which one, what outcome I'm trying to affect. But that's just kind of my 2 cents when it comes to why I use one over the other. Hopefully that kind of helped. So Deborah, I've heard this for years. Does using a third-party scheduling tool reduce engagement? There's been no proof that this is true. I mean, Agora Pulse actually did they did one of those tests where they used the third-party tool. They are a third-party tool, obviously. So it's in their best interest to prove that, using a third-party tool does not impact your reach. But they did it using, influencers, or, they didn't just use their own accounts. They pulled in other people's accounts, and they did a side-by-side comparison and found no negligible difference between using a third-party tool versus using one. So I don't think it's true anymore. And I think as time has gone on, it's less and less true for sure, if it ever was. My 2 cents and opinion only, but I don't think it impacts you at all. So Mark, I hope I answered what is a customer acquisition system. It's basically just getting people to a place you own and then nurturing them to a sale. So it's a combination. I think a lot of times people have nurture sequences, but it's not a full on, get them to a sale flow. So, all right. Seeing what other questions. And feel free. I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. Like I say, I think really my big goal today was to paint the picture of what's working today. Repurposing, I think, does have its place. You can use Streamyard to help you, especially if you've already got content inside of Streamyard. But I think that really we need to get intentional with the content and create content that's going to attract our person based on what they care about and what matters to them. And I think that's problem-centric content. And today we can do all this so much easier with the help of AI. But you still do need the infrastructure. You still need a system to back up your content flow these days. That's always been true, and it will continue to be true. It's really the breakdown of why people are not monetizing their content at a higher level, because they don't have that client acquisition system. So again, hard fought content. I mean, hard fought and expensive process for me to learn this. I'm just sharing my lessons learned with you so that hopefully it shortens your learning curve and, more importantly, points you in the right directions. So if you want to stop chasing every content strategy and you just want to do what works, and you want a system that's somebody else has already built and all you have to do is plug in, then definitely check out Content to Profit. We dropped in the link for that, I think. And if it makes sense, it makes sense. But we're seeing it work so well with our clients. And that's just, there may be other people who have similar courses or systems. I don't know of any off the top of my head, but that doesn't mean that somebody else might not be selling the same thing. All right. A lot of people will teach you how to create content. A lot of people will teach you how to create content. Not a lot of people will teach you how to monetize the content because they're not doing it themselves. And I don't mean to be so harsh, and I'm not pointing fingers at anyone in particular, because, a lot of people have amazing content strategies. I just try to connect the dots. At the end of the day, I really am about doing the things that make money while serving people at a higher level. Yeah, hang on. It is. Give me just a second, and I'll pull this back up here. Let me share my screen. I'll just drop it in. It's content. Let me put it on the screen. Give me a sec here. I should have already had this. One quick thing before I drop this in that I want to make sure our winners are aware of, because I let me put this at all of you who won, and I'm getting ready to do the last drawing, so keep that in mind. And this will be for a Content to Profit seat. So, but if you are a winner already, you can go to kimgarst.com/winner and give us your details. So make sure that if you were like, you just won the mega pack, let us go here, fill in their details, because we need to know where to send it. Okay. Now, if you're interested in Content to Profit, go to contenttoprofitlaunch.com for the details. And yep, thanks. And I see Sandra also put it in. Now, one quick thing, we've got one last giveaway, guys. And it is, like I said, it's to one person today, one lucky winner is going to win our system for content. It is on-demand training and systems to make, market, and monetize your content. It is a full-on system. It helps you with your client acquisition funnel. It also obviously is really about creating the right kind of content. We teach you all of our AI strategies to create the content so that it's not overwhelming. If you don't have an offer, we help you with that. So there's a lot of really great content, learning opportunities. Instead of trying to do all the things, just do it in this order, and it works. All right. Yes. So Louise, I am so glad. Let me pop this back up, because I know you won. So I want you to go to kimgarst.com/winner. Okay. And put your information in, give us your address so that we can pass that on to Streamyard and they can make sure that the swag bag, the swag pack gets out to you. All right. Now, there's one more win. We're choosing one more winner today. So I'm going to give you just a minute to drop in hashtag content, drop it in down under. The value of the Content to Profit is, almost $2,500. We're giving a $500 price. I think it's $500 off right now for anybody in the next, just a pre-look for those of you who are at Content Palooza. So yeah, I see people are starting to pull it up, pop in their hashtag content. So I'm going to pull up my screen. This is I tell you guys, like, seriously, this system that you're going to have access to, if you're the winner, and if you're not the winner, you can still get it. I mean, obviously it's going to cost you, and it's not going to be free. But the point is that I had a client who paid me literally thousands of dollars, a little over $25,000, just to be totally transparent with you, to create this strategy. And then she pays us monthly to create the content. And so just so you understand the flow, let me just real quick, I'll come back to our screen, our giveaway in a second. How easy this makes it for her. So what we do is using AI, we've trained AI in her voice and her business. And, we know her customer base, the problems that they have. Every Monday, she gets a series of 5 scripts that she sets down and records. It takes her about a little over 10 minutes, she said. She's been timing herself. So a little over 10 minutes for her to sit down and record 5 60-second videos. And then we take it from there. So those of you who are a service-based business, this is a system that you could implement and sell as a service too. So not only did she pay me to develop the strategy, which I've shared with you, she paid me to develop the system to support it. And then she pays me monthly to help her do the work. So, this is just a win-win if you're a service provider. Just kind of thought I'd share that real quick. All right, so let's pull up. We've got 13 entries right now. This is for, again, a seat in the Content to Profit training. So let's draw. Who's going to win? I wish I need some sound effects for this. All right. Angela, you already have access to this. Do you mind if I give it to somebody else? So I'm going to do one more winner. I mean, if she minds, we'll have 2 winners. But like I say, I know she already has access to it. So Come on. All right, Louise already won something, so we can't give it to her. So we're going to draw for the third time. Oops, let me get that pulled back up. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. One more winner. It's not supposed to pick duplicates, but sometimes it happens. Okay, Rachel, girl, you are the winner today. So go over to kimgerst.com. Let me put it up on the screen again. kimgerst.com/winner. Give us your details and we'll get you set up in the course. Okay. So, so excited for you guys. Yes. All right. And don't forget, if you are interested in a system that you can monetize your content, check it out, content to profit launch .com/register. There we go. Also, do not forget, guys, if you want a super simple, I would say one-stop shop kind of tool for content creation, but you didn't win the big pack, like the year of pro license, you can still get 30 days for free. Test it out, try it, see if it's for you. It's kimgerst.com/StreamYard. They are giving my peeps a 30-day free trial, so definitely check it out. All right. All right. Is there any last minute questions before I head out? Rachel said, I won yesterday. You did win yesterday. I forgot about that. Huh. I tell you what, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to do one more winner. What do y'all think? Is everybody good with that? All right. Let me share my screen again. One more winner. See who else wins. Okay. I'm trying to remember. Jackie, have you won anything this week? I can't remember. I should remember, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But you know, it never hurts to have multiple winners. So Rachel, we will make sure you get a seat as well, because I know you won, but again, we'll do two winners, and no big deal. So I'm feeling generous today. And all right, excellent. Okay, so I guess that's it for me, guys. Just last minute, just want to thank you guys seriously from the bottom of my heart for staying with us. I know some of you have been here every day. Time is valuable, and we appreciate when you spend time with us. If you have any questions, like I said before, if you are like, well, I'd love to make money with my content, just not sure how, you're not sure if content to profit is your, the answer to this, don't hesitate to let us know. You can even book a call with me real quick, kimgerst.com/private. We can always have a quick conversation and see. It might be for you and it might not, but definitely excited to have you on this journey with us. Excellent. Yes. All right. Excellent, Jackie. Well, we'll get both of you guys set up, and don't forget, though, in order to make sure we have your information, go over to kimgerst.com/winner so that we can set you up and get everything taken care of. All right. Well, guys, I wish you a great weekend and all the things. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and God bless.